There is a rule in Japan. It is never written down, it is never officially taught, but every Japanese parent knows it. Every Japanese teacher follows it, and it is the single biggest reason Japanese children behave the way they do. Not the classrooms, not the uniforms, not the discipline. The rule. In Japan, 6-year-olds clean their own schools. Kindergartners serve each other lunch. Children as young as 7 ride the subway alone. Not because their parents don't care, but because the entire culture had decided something that most of the West hasn't. Children are capable, and capability is built deliberately from birth through one rule that shapes everything else. Today, we're going to break down that rule and every principle that flows from it. By the end of this video, you won't just understand why Japanese children behave differently, you'll understand exactly how to build that same foundation in your own home. The rule. In one sentence, raise a child who is responsible to others, not just to themselves. That's it, one sentence. But it changes everything. What you teach, how you teach it, what you reward, what you correct, and what you believe childhood is actually for. In the West, we raise children to be happy, to be confident, to express themselves, to follow their dreams. These are not bad goals, but they center the individual. Japan centers the relationship. The child is not just a person, they are a member of a family, of a class, of a community, of Japan. And a member has obligations, not because they're told to, but because that understanding is built into them, layer by layer, from their very first years. Here is how that rule gets translated into practice, through 7 specific principles that every Japanese parent, teacher, and institution quietly follows. The 7 principles of the Japanese rule. 1. Amai. Depend first, then become independent. The most counterintuitive principle comes first. Japanese parenting does not push independence early. It does the opposite. Japanese mothers practice a concept called amai, allowing a young child to depend completely, to cling, to need, fully, warmly, without anxiety about spoiling. The child sleeps beside the mother. The child is carried everywhere. Every need is met, every time. Western parents often hear this and feel uncomfortable. Won't that create a child who can't function alone? The developmental research says the opposite. Psychologist Mary Ainsworth's landmark attachment studies found that children whose early dependence is fully met develop what she called secure attachment, and securely attached children show significantly higher independence, resilience, and confidence in later childhood than children whose early needs were routinely unmet. Japan doesn't push children to be independent. It builds the secure foundation from which genuine independence grows naturally. 2. Shudan Seikatsu. Group life is the real classroom. From the first day of school, Japanese children are placed into a han, a small group of 4 to 6 classmates. This group eats together, cleans together, works together, and is held accountable together. This is called Shudan Seikatsu, group life. And it is treated not as a social activity, but as an academic one. Learning to function within a group, to carry your share, to subordinate your immediate desire to the group's needs, this is considered as important as reading or mathematics. Cross-cultural psychologist Gert Hofstede's decades of research found that collectivist-raised children, those taught to see themselves as members of a group, show measurably higher empathy, stronger conflict resolution skills, and lower rates of behavioral problems than individually focused peers. The Japanese classroom doesn't just teach children, it teaches them how to be with each other. 3. Soji. Clean what is yours to care for. Every day, in every school in Japan, the children stop class and clean. Floors, desks, bathrooms, hallways. No janitors, no exceptions. This is soji, cleaning time, and it begins at age 6. It is not framed as a chore, it is framed as stewardship. You belong to this place. This place belongs to you. You care for what is yours. The psychological research on what is called ownership effect is unambiguous. People who are responsible for an environment treat it better, respect it more, and behave more pro-socially within it than people who are merely occupants of it. Japanese children are not told to respect their school. They are given ownership of it. And ownership creates respect that no instruction ever could. The child who cleans the bathroom does not throw trash on the floor. Not because of a rule, because it's his bathroom. 4. Haji. Teach how behavior affects others, not just what the rules say. Western discipline is rule-based. Don't hit, share your things, say please. Rules are stated, enforced, punished when broken. Japanese discipline is built on haji, awareness of how your behavior lands on others. Children are not taught, don't do that because it's wrong. They're taught, when you do that, here's how it makes others feel. Here is what it says about you to our family. Here is how it reflects on all of us. The difference is not semantic. Psychologist June Tangney's research at Mason University found that children, motivated by genuine concern for others, not fear of punishment, maintain that behavior when no adult is watching. Rule-based obedience evaporates when enforcement disappears. Values-based behavior does not. Japanese parents spend less time issuing commands and more time narrating consequences. Not stop that, but look at your friend's face when you do that. What do you see? 5. Kodomo Dake. Send children into the world alone. Japan is the only developed country in the world where it is completely normal, expected even, for children as young as 6 to commute to school alone, by train, through crowds, across cities. This is not neglect. It is a deliberate cultural practice called Kodomo Dake, children alone, and it rests on two things working together: a community that looks out for children, and the belief that children are capable. The research on what psychologists call risky play and childhood autonomy is now extensive. Dr. Peter Gray at Boston College has documented that children, given genuine independence, real responsibility, real consequences, real freedom, develop significantly stronger executive function, emotional regulation, and problem-solving ability than children in highly supervised environments. Japan sends its children into the world because it has decided its children can handle the world, and in doing so, it makes that decision true. 5. Katachi. Form first, feeling follows. In Japanese culture, there is a principle called Katachi, form. The idea that correct behavior, practiced consistently, eventually produces correct feeling. In the West, we tend to believe the opposite. You must feel motivated to behave well. You must want to share before you share. You must feel grateful before you say thank you. Japan teaches the form first. Bow even when you don't feel grateful. Help even when you don't feel generous. Clean even when you don't feel like it. Over time, and the research on habit formation confirms this, the repeated behavior reshapes the internal state. The child who bows eventually feels respect. The child who helps eventually feels generosity. Behavioral pathologist William James identified this principle a century ago. Action seems to follow feeling, but really, action and feeling go together. Japan built an entire parenting philosophy on it. 6. Nemawashi. Build consensus, never force compliance. The final principle is the most misunderstood. Japanese children appear obedient, but they are not trained into submission. They are brought into agreement. Nemawashi is a Japanese concept meaning going around the roots, the process of preparing the ground before making a decision. In parenting, it means bringing a child along gradually, explaining, involving, making them feel part of the process. Japanese parents do not bark commands. They narrate, they explain why, they involve the child in decisions wherever possible. By the time a boundary is set, the child already understands it, because the groundwork was laid quietly in advance. This is why Japanese children follow rules without being forced. They were part of building the rules. Compliance that comes from understanding is not compliance at all. It is agreement, and agreement holds. None of these principles require you to be Japanese. They require you to make a decision about what you're building. Are you raising a child who is happy, right now, today? Or are you raising a person who knows how to be with other people, who feels responsible to something larger than themselves, who can walk into a room and make it better because they were there? Japan decided centuries ago that the second goal is the more important one, and it built a culture, in homes, in schools, in train stations, that produces it reliably. You don't need a culture, you need a rule. One rule applied consistently from which everything follows. If this video helped you see parenting in a new way, share it with another parent who needs it. And tell me in the comments, which of these principles will you try first? Subscribe for more videos like this, where we break down what really shapes how children think, behave, and grow.